We're rolling. Happy New Year's. You guys, I just got finished doing my morning routine. As you can tell, like when my hair is combed back like this, it either means I showered or it means I've done my morning routine, okay? Just letting you know for future reference. But I have maybe 30-40 minutes with you guys today because my brother's gonna come get me in a little bit to say bye to some people because I fly back to California tomorrow. And I don't know if you can tell, but my face is super swollen because I cried for literally an hour straight last night because I'm just really overwhelmed, but not necessarily in kind of like a I'm overwhelmed guys kind of way, but more so in a way that I'm honestly not that surprised, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because I just feel like I knew this was coming. I knew I was gonna feel this way coming back home, seeing everybody, seeing all these people that I haven't seen in 2 years, and revisiting all of these feelings and concepts and places. You know how prepared I am? I have water. Mercury retrograde has finally ended, and let me tell you guys, that retrograde was easily one of the most chaotic retrogrades I've ever experienced in my entire life. Wow, I cannot believe how potent that energy was. But I really don't know where to start because there's so much. But I want to start with my brother because I just feel like, first of all, the reason I wasn't able to, not that I'm not trying to be like, oh, like I need to explain to you guys, but genuinely because I feel like filming on Sundays and talking to you guys on Sundays is my big thing. You know, I just feel like it's my way of debriefing and getting ready for the new week. But things did not go as planned because Sunday night I was at my brother's place and I did film a video at his place, but my brother is very big. He doesn't want to know or people to know about his house, like, because he was telling me that he got very frustrated with someone because somebody picked them up at his house, and he was like, I just don't want people to know where I live. And you know, I recorded a video in his house and you could only see a wall, but this part of me just still felt like I was crossing a line, or I was just kind of like, this feels very disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? And the video wasn't even that good because it was like 3 in the morning and it was just really weird, and I didn't like it, and I didn't like how I felt about it, and I just felt like it was a boundary that, even though he probably wouldn't care, I just would rather not assume that, you know? And my relationship with my brother has highlighted a lot in my life. I think that spending time with him, it has opened up a lot of perspectives on my life and why I am the way that I am. Because the reason I was crying last night is because I got into like a really meaningful conversation. The way I said that, it sounded like I was about to be like, I got into a really big fight with him, but I got into a really nice conversation with him last night. And mind you, my brother's a 12th house sun too. My middle brother is an 11th house sun. I still need to get his birth chart information. I asked him for it last night. He was like, you're such a typical Gen Z person. And I was like, whatever. But my oldest brother, he is a 12th house sun like I am. And because of that, I feel like because we grew up, isn't it interesting that the sun rules the father, and both my brother and I have a 12th house sun? So that just like, and he's a 4th house moon, so I know his relationship with mom and dad, he knows just as well as I do, if not even if not, like he knows our parents way better than I do, you know, because he was the firstborn, and there was a period of time where he was an only child. And because of that, I just feel like the things you've seen with them is just so much more graphic and colorful. And because of that, I feel like in getting to know him and relating to him in regards to our relationship with our parents has been really healing for me and has put a lot into perspective. And I'll kind of get into it as I go because I feel like I keep saying like it put a lot into perspective, but But so I was talking to him last night and I was bawling my eyes out. I was texting him, so he would never know this. But basically, he was telling me, I asked him because almost a decade ago, I'd say, he had moved to Indiana with his girlfriend. And listen, I've always known that I was very attached to my oldest brother. I have horrible separation anxiety with my entire family. Maybe not so much my middle brother, sorry. But you guys know this. I have terrible separation anxiety. I can't stand it when people leave me. Even if it's just like, not like literally leaving me, you know, like just like physical distance. But I remember when he left that day to go to Indiana. Oh my God, you guys. When I tell you, I bawled my eyes out. I remember I was sitting on the steps watching him leave and I was like crying. I was like, can he please just change his mind and stay here? You know, I was like, can he please just change his mind and just stay here? And then he left. And I remember I was like, a part of me like changed that day. When I think about that day, I'm like, dude, like I was not the same person after that day. You know, something in me really changed. And then when he moved back, it was with his girlfriend, and our relationship at that point was just very strained. It was very bad because he was just going through things. Let's just say that much, you know. But basically, you know, our relationship has just, ever since I started to get older and he started to go through his 20s, our relationship was just very strained. It was very tense, and there was a huge wall up, and it was just super hard to talk to him at all and connect with him and, you know, be around for him, you know, and vice versa. You know, we've had a really big upbringing because when he got with his girlfriend that he has now, he's like a completely different person, I feel. But I just think about it a lot because he told me last night that he remembers very distinctly my face when he left that day. Gonna make me cry again, but I just, it like changed, I felt like a part of my inner child like was healed because he admitted to me that it was hard for him to leave that day, you know, that it was hard for him to leave, you know. I wasn't easy to leave, you know, because I felt like he always made me feel like, or that situation always made me feel like I was easy to leave, or that it really wasn't that big of a deal to leave me behind, you know. It wasn't that big of a deal to leave all of us behind, you know, my other brother, my mom and dad, you know, at home. Oh, I need some of this. And for the longest time, I've just really struggled to connect with him because I felt like he didn't care about me, or I felt like he thought I was just like an anchor, or kind of like something that prevented him from doing the things that he wanted to, or something like that, you know, just to where I felt like a hindrance to him, a burden. But in learning that he really does care and has always cared, and you know, when they broke up, the person that he ran off to in Indiana, I found out that he cried. And listen, my brothers, no one in this family, besides maybe my mom, none of them cry. I cry hands down the most out of all 5 of us, okay? I cry the most. They would probably never know that, but I cry the most. I cry all the time. I cried last night. Ciao. Anyways, but basically what I'm trying to convey with that is like, I can count on this hand without flash fingers how many times I've heard or witnessed that man cry. I've seen him cry once, I think. Maybe twice. So the fact that I heard about him crying over something, like when he cries, I just know like this man has hit rock bottom, you know. But in learning that and hearing the way that he talks about that relationship, even though like he made his own mistakes, I must say, I can tell that he really was trying his best. And the way that he was talking to me last night, I was like, I can tell that he really was trying, and that he was navigating a lot of mistakes and a lot of regrets and a lot of heavy emotions. And something about that, just because I know above all else, he had his doubts and he had his feelings of ambivalence moving away from home. And I asked him, because moving to California myself and leaving home has created a lot of ambivalence, because I truly don't feel like moving to California was 100% my choice. It was mostly because of my mom, if I'm going to be honest. The opportunity presented itself, and I felt like it was a better one than staying here, which that I cannot disagree with. And I kind of want to wear my cow bracelet. It's just sitting right there. I keep looking at it. I brought it with me. It's my good luck bracelet. Isn't it cute? You guys have seen it, but anyways. I've just had a lot of ambivalence with moving to California, because when I first got there, y'all, and honestly, for the past, like, maybe 2021, when I actually moved there, September, up until, like, December of 2022, dang, it's really been that long, hasn't it? I honestly hated it. And leading up until, like, summer of 2023, I hated it. I did not like California. I liked it, you know. I liked things about it, but it didn't feel like home. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like somewhere I was staying. I hated it. Okay, especially when I first got there, I hated it. I hated this place. I was like, I don't like this place. I miss home. When I first got to California, every single morning, every single night, I bawled my eyes out. I remember every morning I would get up and bawl my eyes out, because I was like, why is this happening to me? I don't know where I am. I miss my mom. Why did she do this to me? I miss my parents. I missed the way life was before I had to leave that joint. But when I met my friends, and as I started becoming more comfortable with myself, and when I broke up with my ex, I truly feel like California started to become a home to me, because I found that I started kind of like, first of all, I started making, you know, like, my room more of a home. I started furnishing it more. I started putting cute things in it that I felt like were me. You know, like this shelf behind me, I find is very much my style. But, which, by the way, do you see this thing? I'm thinking about taking this thing back with me. It's apparently called like a Gallagher thermometer. I want it. Not, anyways, I digress. So, and I guess what I'm trying to say by bringing that up is I hated California when I first got there. And I asked my brother, I was like, I wonder how he felt when he first left. And he told me it was the exact opposite. He said he loved it. He was like, I was free. I could do whatever I want. I was lit AF. And then he started to hate it. But for me, it was the opposite. And it kind of just spiraled into this conversation where I told him, and I really spilled my guts on this one. I was like, I hope you know that those, and I told him specifically, I'm not bringing any of this up to make you feel bad or anything, because I still feel like a part of me wants that piece of letting him know how I felt, you know? Even though I'm sure he knows how I felt, I still want to say it. And I told him, that day you left, I won't forget it. And when you came back, I was honestly very confused and sad because of the way you would treat me. But I hope you know that despite all of it, I really love you, because I told him the other day that I was very proud of him, of what he's done. And I told him, I was like, I'm very proud of you. And I meant it when I said it the other day, because I've seen you go from living at home, working at Amazon, to like an apartment, to another apartment, to another apartment, to a house. You know, I've basically seen this man go through a lot of different transitions in his life that I personally could not handle. Like, absolutely not. And I just kind of I told him I was very proud of you. And I try not to tell him don't be too hard on yourself because he got Virgo Venus. He gonna be hard on himself. Let's be real, huh? Hey, he a Capricorn moon, girl, please. But anyways, I was telling him that, and I told him I love you because I feel like you've really actually made it a point to change and made it a point to do better for yourself. And that is why where you are now is just so like endearing to me, and that you mean so much to me because you took in an initiative that not a lot of people would take, especially for me, I feel. But like in general, I feel like there's a lot of people in this world that won't admit to their mistakes and make it a point to learn from those mistakes and move forward, you know? And I told him that. He didn't really respond. He just texted me this morning. He was like, I'm gonna pick you up so we can see everyone before you leave. And I know that that is a part of our connection that I don't want to repeat in another connection. I'm salvaging what I can with my brothers because I know I'm realizing that, because my brother said it, he said, once mom and dad pass, we're gonna have, the three of us, that's all that's left of this family. Realistically, I don't think that my parents are going to pass at the same time. I don't know who's gonna pass away first, if I'm gonna be real with you guys, because they're Asian. It is a roll of dice, all right? It is like Russian roulette, okay? I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I can tell. There's so much here, you guys. Let me finish this, what I was talking about. He told me that, and it kind of opened my eyes because I was like, I feel like I'll never be able to have a perfect, well, obviously, but not the relationship that I want with either of my parents, especially my mom, because I know that my mom really resents me. Like, really resents me. You can tell by the way that she treats me and the way that she criticizes me. I love her to death, and I know she loves me too, but I can tell that there is a lot of shackles in the connection that we feel like we had to undergo, or like there's things in the relationship that we feel like we had to attend to that we did not want to attend to. She literally flat out admitted to me that she wanted to get me aborted, but her mom was like, no, go through with it. And she immediately follows up with like, but I love you. I'm glad that she did. And I feel like, I'm not trying to speak on her feelings or nothing like that, but I feel like she loves me so much because she knows that I'm one of the ones that her mom wanted, and she loved her mom so much, dude. Her attachment to her mom is absolutely insane. It is. I didn't really get to know my grandmother from my mom's side very well because she passed away when I was really young, but I can tell that my mom really loved her because my mom cries about her all the time. She's like, I miss my mom, And I just feel like basically what I'm trying to say here by explaining that is like, and you guys know about my dad, I love my parents to death, but because of the insane age gap, like they are literally like in their late 50s, early 60s, and I'm 21, we are very far apart, and they had me when pretty late in their life. And because of that, like there's just a huge stress and strain on our connection. And at this point, the language barrier, the fact that they are just not that in tune with their feelings, all of this stuff, it just prevents me from getting to know them and actually having a stable connection with them that is one that I crave, And so I feel like not only is there a lot of resentment and a lot of burdens in the way, but I just feel, I don't know. They're my parents, and for that, I'm grateful. But my brothers, I feel like there is less resentment there, because as far as I can see, all three of us were thrown into this world without warning, okay? And especially my oldest brother, he did not ask to be responsible for two younger brothers. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him. I'm like, dude, I cannot imagine having little siblings that I feel like I have to take care of, even though I literally, And I kind of realized that last night, one of my biggest resolutions for this year is to have a better relationship with my brothers, because I just feel like when mom and dad do pass away, it's probably not going to be for a while, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't know when it's going to be, but I can tell that time is a ticking, child. I know that if I still have a strained relationship with either of them, it will not bode well when we are grieving. It just will not. It will not work. It will not be a vibe. Obviously, we'll overcome it, but like it, I know I could save myself a lot of stress just by getting better with them now. I texted my middle brother last night, and listen, y'all, my middle brother and I, we've never gotten along. Maybe we got along when I was like really little, but when I started to grow up, we used to fight all the time. Like not really physical altercations. He didn't really hit me, but he would yell at me, and I would yell back, and we would just fight all the time. Dude, it was so bad. And I was thinking about it last night because I remember there's this one time that he was like asking me to go help at the store, and I remember I was pretending to sleep, and he literally was yelling at me, moving my mattress and pouring water on me, and I was still pretending to be asleep. And I'm just like thinking about how funny it is, because why was I being such a brat, and why was he so mad, you know? I don't know. I think it's comical how mad he gets, you guys. I think my brothers are a lot more temperamental than me, and they're way worse at controlling their temper than me. And it's so funny because we all have our dad's anger issues, and it's kind of funny because it's just so animated, you know, like you can't possibly be that angry, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like thinking about that specific memory, and I know if I bring it up to him, he's gonna get mad at me. But last night I texted it, I was like, how'd you feel when our big brother moved to Indiana? And he immediately starts like yelling at me. He's like, stop comparing, what are you doing with your life, you know? It's just like, you're just a leech. And I was like, that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I completely disregarded what he said, because I knew that if I responded to that in like a hostile way, we would have gotten into a fight and nothing would have got done. And I was kind of laughing about it, because I was kind of like, oh my god, is this, you know, because I just couldn't take myself seriously in that moment, because I was like, ain't no way he's already mad. So I started telling him, I was like, no, it wasn't about that. I'm just genuinely curious about how you felt that day, because I'm sure you could remember how sad I was. And he was like, I didn't care. And he was like, I was, quote verbatim, I was a shithead that only cared about getting high in clothes. And I don't know why, but he's funny, okay, guys? He's a Virgo. And I'm sorry, but Virgos are so hilarious. Virgos irritate me, alright? Sometimes I don't like Virgos, but they are hilarious, okay? Sorry, my friend was texting me. But I was kind of laughing when he was texting me. And I don't know. He definitely has like a really good sense of humor. I feel like I'm a mixture of both my brother's sense of humor. But I don't know. I was kind of having fun talking to him. I'm about to take some later, but you know, my family always hogs on me to talk to my middle brother, even though they know we don't get along. They're like, he does love you, okay? I'm like, girl, whatever. But I did have a conversation with him, and I fell asleep, so I'm about to text him again later. But you know what I mean? It really was meaningful to have a good conversation with both of them. And even though they didn't really respond the way that I wanted them to, which is definitely something that I don't want to repeat in my new like romantic relationships, because like, as weird as it sounds, I know that my brothers have influenced a great portion of how my romantic relationships are and how I interact with men, because they were the men around when I was growing up, because my dad was extremely absent. But you know, my dad's present now, but like he receives some pushback from him because he's very old, and I am also just like, I grew apart from him, and now it's just kind of like, I love you very much, Dad, and I pretty much would do anything in this world for you, but it's coming to a point where I'm kind of realizing that we are completely different people, and sometimes I feel like the only thing we have in common is the fact that you created me, or you helped Mom create me, if you know what I mean. And my brother was talking to me. He was like, "Your dad's favorite, easily." My middle brother is my mom's favorite, and I'm definitely my dad's favorite. I didn't really think about it until this point, but my oldest brother, he looked at me, he was like, "You are dad's favorite." I don't know what it is about you, but I feel like it's because I'm a Sag rising just like dad, and I'm a Scorpio just like dad, okay? I'm just saying, I feel like, and he's a Gemini moon, so I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he feels like I'm like the vibe, you know? I think he sees himself most in me. Because I know my dad's spunky, okay? I know when he was little, he was my age, he was a flirt, okay? He plays too much. I've seen his playful side a few times, and I'm like, he was definitely like me when I was youngest, or when he was my age. At least out of the three of us, I definitely think that there are still things that I do not have in common with my dad if he was my age, but you know. And I think that's very interesting to think about, because my mom definitely just likes my middle brother the most. I don't know why, if I'm gonna be honest. Maybe. I think my mom's a Virgo moon. I thought she was a Cancer moon, but I asked her for her birth chart information, and I salvaged what little I could, and I was like, is she really a Virgo moon? Because if so, that kind of makes sense, because my mom has always had like digestion issues, or she's always had like a very weird relationship with her diet. I don't know. But my oldest brother, he was like, I'm bottom of the barrel, okay? Like, I'm nobody's favorite. And I was like, you're my favorite. Okay, my oldest brother is easily my favorite family member. If anything happened and I had to tell someone in the family, it would be him. Without a doubt. No, I wouldn't even think about it twice, you know? Like, my oldest brother, he's like my best friend, you guys. Like, I love him so much. And I very well could tell him almost anything. Almost, I think. But there are things that I will not tell anyone. Not like just. Anyways. Yeah, I just feel like last night was very healing. And here's the thing, you guys. This is one thing that I also wanted to kind of branch into. So my best friend the Capricorn best friend that I've literally had my whole life, I unfollowed her on Instagram through my spam, and she unfollowed me on my main account. And I really do feel like this is a huge falling out. One might even argue that we might not even be friends anymore. I really do feel like that's what it is, because I don't know, there's just something about it that just kind of like feels off, but that's besides the point. I just think that that's something that time will tell. But she constantly preaches, I hate men, you know, and her and the Discord, they were always like, they just do not like men because of their dads, because of whatever, you know, they just do not like men. And it doesn't matter, and they would always say, except you know, but like, it doesn't matter if it really doesn't matter, you know. I'm still a man, excuse me, you know. You can throw in all these, excuse me, oh my gosh, all these details about oh my gosh, what is happening to me? You can throw in all these details about my orientation, my preferences, my vibe, everything, but I am still at my core a man, you know. Like, I'm a man, you know. Like, I'm male AF, you know. Like, I was born with a penis, you know. Like, I am a man biologically. So when I'm around them, it just like, I felt like I adopted that mentality. And I feel like that mentality not only played a huge part in me not liking myself to a degree, but also just like not liking men around me. Even though I love men, you know, like, I feel like I get along so well with men, you guys. Like, the way that I interact with my brothers, I'm like, I know I get along with men. And the way that I interact with my dad and his friends, I know I get along with them. And with that entire part of my being hindered and basically like prohibited from being explored, I just feel like I've suffered a great deal, because I just feel like I don't know, you guys. It's a very strange feeling to finally, or not finally, kind of finally, honestly, to not be around her anymore, because I'm kind of realizing that like I don't my relationship with men has significantly improved. I don't feel as if though if I was still friends with her, I would be able to get along with my brothers the way that I do now. You know, it's like I'm starting to recognize and really like swallow the pill that men are just as emotional, just as compassionate, and just as caring as women are, just in their own way, and they just suck at expressing it, you know? Like, and quite frankly, they show a lot of their love through their actions, and I need that in my life, you guys. I'm sorry, y'all. I love women to death, but sometimes all they be doing is saying things and then not doing it. Men do that too. Men do that too. I'm not, but like, I feel like because men are like mostly actions, I never like take into consideration what they say. You know, like if my dad, when he says something, I literally just don't believe him. I don't know what it is, but I just don't believe him. I wait till he does it, you know. Sometimes I believe him, but that's besides the point. I don't know, just like my experiences with women, my personal experiences is like a lot of times I'll say things, but then they won't do it. Whereas the men in my family and the men that I interact with, they will say something and they usually stand by it, or they will just go ahead and do it without saying anything. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this has just been like a huge advent moment where I'm getting better, you know, like I'm getting better with the more masculine side of myself, but also improving the relationship with the men in my family. And I just feel like this will inadvertently enrich my like my romantic life. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that my relationship with my dad plays a gigantic part in my love life, because when I'm on bad terms with him, I feel like when I'm on bad terms with my dad or like the men in my family, I start to become like very promiscuous, and I start to kind of like seek more validation from men, you know? You know, I get very needy. I start to like clingy and stuff like that. And I know that because I remember when I first moved to California, I literally was like no contact with my dad. And when I tell you I was on Tinder, girl, I cannot believe that was me, you know? But now that I have a better relationship with the men in my family, like I just feel a lot more whole, and I feel a lot more like, does that make sense, you know? But I especially because like, I think it's interesting because I have a Saturn in Gemini in the 7th house, and then I'm a Sag rising, so that means my 7th house is Gemini, and my dad's Gemini moon. So I just feel like my relationship with him is like directly connected to like how I interact with men, you know? Like I feel like if I'm on bad terms with my dad, I am on bad terms with all men. If I'm on good terms with my dad, like I'm on good terms with all men. Shoot, you know? But you know, that's just kind of like, that's how I see it, you know? Because I really want to heal my love life, and I want to be better about commitment, and I want to be better about that. And what better way to start than to improve the relationship with the men in my family, you know? My brother just said he's on his way. Ciao, my clothes aren't even done drying. He's gonna be pissed. Okay, guys, so unfortunately our time will be cut short, which I don't think, not really, because like, I don't have much to show you guys. That's really all. I could keep going, but anyways, I wanted to do a mini haul for you guys because I did buy some things at the mall. Some of the things are in the washer, but I'll show you what I can. So first of all, I went thrifting with my friend, and I got this shirt. It says "Save the Wave." Isn't it super cute? It's like Snoopy. I haven't washed it yet, so I'm very disgusted by this shirt right now, and I would rather not. And then I also got these DVDs. I got this SpongeBob DVD, the Halloween one. I got the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Every time I see this DVD, I think of my cousin, because when I used to go to my aunt's house, her room always had like the poster for this movie, and now I just think of her. This movie is also really messed up, you guys. I don't know. And I also got this, Scooby-Doo Meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. I watched it with my brother last night and his girlfriend. It was pretty good. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but it was definitely better than Return to Zombie Island. If y'all know what that movie is, I'm sorry. Don't watch it. It's terrible. It's a waste of time. And then I also have a shirt. Okay, so I got 3 shirts, 2 of them being t-shirts, 1 being a button-up. And I got a pair of cargo pants and a jacket. The pants and one of the shirts and the jacket are all in the dryer right now, and so I can't show you, but I'll show you next week. Oh, but next time I talk to you guys, I'll be back in California. That's weird. Let me go get the shirts real quick. They're just like over here. Okay. I feel like you guys are really gonna like them. So the first shirt is like this vintagey skater heavyweight punk city vibe shirt, and I really like it. It's really nice quality. I got it from Zoomies, is that what it's called? And then I went to American Eagle and I found this button up. Oh my gosh, I thought this was the cutest button up in the world. I've been looking for one like this too. I'm so excited for spring, you guys, because doesn't this give spring? Doesn't this give like, I'm so excited to make outfits with this, and when I do, I'll make it a point to show you guys. I feel like you guys are gonna love it. But yeah, let me go through my New Year's resolution with you guys one more time. I want to improve my relationship with men. I want to improve my relationship. Oh my gosh, you guys. Another thing. So my brother's girlfriend, why is she famous? You know what I'm saying? So Pluto goes into Aquarius this month. And I already know because I don't have any cardinal in my chart. I literally only have a Libra Mars. So it's been hard AF for me to gain attention and to like attract things. But Pluto fixed sign. Guess what? My chart is literally like 90% fixed. At least like the planet wise, you know, not like all the asteroids and like the risings. I'm a Scorpio sun, Mercury, Venus, Taurus moon, Leo, Jupiter, Aquarius, Neptune, and Uranus. I have so much fixed in my chart, you guys. And then I think I have a few more fixed in my like asteroids. I don't know. But I just know. And my brother's girlfriend, why is she famous? Because she used to have like millions of followers on TikTok, but then she deleted her account for like personal reasons. And she used to literally be friends with Ariana Grande. And like she's talked to Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj. Like she literally has receipts, you guys. Like she has proof that they have interacted. And she's met a few of these celebrities, like in person too. And she like has like a few thousand followers on TikTok, like maybe like almost 100K. She's just not that interested in being famous from what it seems. And then she says she can promote my YouTube channel. You guys, witch obsession. And I'm like, I've always wanted to ask her to do that, but I just felt like it was very tacky, you know. I didn't want to. But I've learned that when you are like a small business or when you are like a content creator, your biggest promoter is you. And I want to grow Witch Obsession so bad. Like, well, that's one of my resolutions. Like, I want to make enough money off Witch Obsession alone that I can like pay my bills right now, you know, and buy things that I want, you know, to live a lot more comfortably. And also because like I kind of have to, because like, come on now, like this is my career path. Like this is what I want to do with my life, at least for a good portion of time. So she about to, oh my gosh. And I was telling my brother, I was like, I really hope she actually does that. And he was like, she will. And I was like, and because she was talking about, she was like, if my account gets more followers, I'm probably gonna do it. And I was like, girl, make sure to shout out my account first. And I was kind of joking about it, but then like I was kind of serious, you know. And I was like, hey yo, like, can you actually? Because she told me she had shout out other people before. And she's like, yeah, I don't care. I already know. But yeah, I'm really thrilled. I'm really excited. I feel like January is going to be very good. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be a lot. My car's still in the shop. It should get repaired by the end of this week. I feel like it will be, you know. And I don't know, like there's just something that's telling me that it'll be done like late this week or early next week. But I'm just very grateful to be where I am right now, because despite the fact that it's been very turbulent leading up until this point, I really do feel like I've been given all the tools that I need to make a solid decision on what I want to do with the next few years of my life and how I want to spend my time. And I just feel very ready to welcome in nice things into my life, since I feel like it's like when you work very hard to prepare a party, you know, like you decorate for a party and like you're just like waiting for the people to show up to actually make it a party, you know? I feel like that's what this year is going to be like. I feel like I've done all the work to decorate and to make things look pretty and to build a nice foundation for myself. And now it's about actually decorating, like furnishing and bringing things into my life, you know, bringing people into my life, you know? And I just feel very good about that because I really do feel like 2023 was a very reflective year, full of like preparing and full of promising yourself things. And now I just feel like 2024 is like those changes actually happening, you know, actually going on, you know, the decisions and the intentions that you have set throughout 2023 will actually go through this year, you know. By no means do I think it's going to be my year, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I do feel like it will be a huge year in which I get to a point in my life that I really like to be at, you know. It will be like the beginning of something big for me, you know. And it really does just start here. Also, the last video I posted on here got like 90 views and I was very scared. I was like, I forget that this account is like, it's not private, you know, just because it doesn't get that many views. So I'm like, oh, you know, it's just like my little diary. And then like people will be seeing it. I'm like, oh wait, like this is like, and for anyone to see. But yeah, if you guys have any New Year's resolutions, please tell me down below. I'd love to like interact with you guys about that and see what you guys, especially because like you guys, some of you guys aren't from my generation. I'm very curious since life is very different for you guys compared to me. But I just want a lot for myself, and I know that it's not bad to want more. That is, oh my gosh, that's what I want to end it on. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. Period. Anyways, see you guys when I'm back in California. I love you.